let's go ahead and go live. And we should be live. Let me go ahead and check. Yes, we are in fact live. Awesome. All right. Hello, everyone. Ace here. Welcome to the live stream. Excuse me. I'm joined today with returning guest Orososium.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're, of course, going to be jumping back into some more Star Wars Empire. You might have noticed that I'm doing this on a Tuesday rather than a Thursday. There is a reason for that, due to work schedule, mainly. So yeah, this is going to be part of the, this is basically going to be probably a reoccurring theme that I'm going to have to start doing these streams on days that are not really what the channel was originally doing, but I digress. Anyways, we have, like I said, I'm joined today with a returning guest Orososium, and we're reading Star Wars Empire. So, issue number 15, Big Dark Lighter's Final Fate. Alright, so we are getting right into the end of episode 4, from the looks of things. And with that said...
The cat smelled my dinner and is screaming. Sorry about that.
Yeah, cats will do that.
I am sorry if there are more little surprises like that. I'll try to keep her occupied a bit.
Don't worry about it. Alright, so getting into it. Yavin 4, a jungle moon orbiting the gas giant Yavin. The Rebel Alliance has based its small, nimble space fleet here. The moist, warm air gives a feeling of untroubled ease. Lassitude. Wait, there's more to it. It belies the Alliance's desperate situation. A better embodiment of the coming peril might be Derek Hobby Clivian, racked with an exotic infection from the moon's jungles. The invading organism resists all treatments, including Bacta. Hobby seems destined to die. But not if his friends, Big's Darklighter, Dr. Shay Polikix, and the beautiful Captain Neradentels can help it.
Okay, give me a second. I have to take the kitty away, and I'll be back again.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries, no worries. So while we wait, I do know that the Forgotten Hope 2 mod has released another little bit of a teaser. Apparently they are adding in yet another, or showcasing another. We've been disconnected, and we are reconnected. Okay then. Well, I don't know how much of that of me talking you were able to hear, but we are back, hopefully. And with us being back, hopefully, we will be able to, presumably, post a link to you guys so you can actually have a look at this while we wait. And there we go. Now that that link has been posted...
Okay, the kitty situation is resolved. I am sorry once more.
No worries. So while you were away, I decided we did actually temporarily lose connection, it seems, but it looks like it's back. But
it's happening to you a lot as of late.
Yeah, I've noticed. It's almost like someone really doesn't like me.
I don't have any other explanation because it cuts almost every time it can.
Yep. But anyways, so while we were waiting, I was going to show this off. Link in the chat for you if you want to have a look. But Forgotten Hope 2 just recently, it's actually in the 1st of October, released a brand new piece of equipment they're going to be adding into their new update, which is the Finnish M43 pin box mine, which is apparently an anti-personnel mine made mostly of wood that is, well, looks like a pin box.
For a second I thought they were magazines. What? So they are mines.
Yep.
And I will ask how they work if they are like that, but that is a question for another kind of stream, I think.
Well, this one's actually very simple from the looks of it. It's just... It looks like it's got a pressure plate on top, but you'll see that it's a little slightly uneven, so it's designed so that when you step on it, the hinge closes and activates the fuse and sets off the mine.
And someone has a very bad day. I can see it now.
Yeah. At least it's not, from what the article says, at least they weren't as bad as the pop-up design mines that were also used, where they would actually come, I guess, to your waist and detonate that way.
Ooh, that will be messy, if nothing else.
Yeah, those types, if I remember correctly, though, were made more to incapacitate than to be outright fatal. The whole point was to take you out of the fight, and also force your country to use medical resources on getting you to recover. But anyways...
Yeah, back to the comic.
Yeah, back to the comic. Siege says, hello, Siege. I hope all is well with you. And while we are getting back to the comic, let's go ahead and go get started. I guess I can voice Biggs here. Who do you want to voice of these two the other characters?
I think they are both women. I don't know. One is older, a doctor. The Dr. Saif Polikex, I suppose. I can voice the old woman if you want.
You want to voice Nera?
No, I mean the doctor, the Say.
All right.
I think she's an old woman, at least. I am not sure.
She looks like it to me, so... I'll go ahead and voice Captain Nera as well as Biggs here, so...
Okay.
What's that, Polikex?
I was saying, Captain Darlighter, that the scholar who catalogued the species of this world battle for greater hardships than we are dealing with.
Oh my! Keep clear of those. All right, that's your character. My bad.
Yeah. Oh my! Keep clear of those vines you cut.
Why?
Nera, quickly! Use the smoke.
Ow! Help! They're leaving you, poor thing.
Yes. Viper wasps. Insufficient quantity. Their venom can cause cramps, diarrhea, yellowing of the eyes, numbness of the extremities, pustules on the mucous membranes, and hormone disruption. But I am sure you didn't get that large of a dose.
Well, that's a relief, I guess. On the outskirts of the Yavin system, a small ship appears, heavy with destiny. Its passengers and pilots have just made a desperate escape, and with a great prize for the allies on Yavin 4. Plans for the Empire's ultimate weapon, the Death Star. But they also, quite unwillingly, carry something else. A tracking device that lets them be stalked by the very thing they hope to destroy.
Spoilers for whoever hasn't seen the movie.
All 5 of them. Now explain again, what can an organism here do that our medical synthesizers can't, when they're able to assemble a tailored chemicals molecule by molecule?
It's the wonder of coevolution. Generations of organisms evolving in proximity over millennia. They endlessly interact, stress each other with each new mutation. Inevitably, they develop defenses against each other, as surely as your toes develop calluses exactly where your boots rub them. Hobby's disease originated here, so it's a near certainty that the organisms here have developed natural defenses against it. The same infection wiped out a quarter of the original survey team. It, or something very like it. The symptoms certainly match. So there is reason to believe the plant extract that saved that expedition can also save Hobby. If we can find and identify it.
The disease got that many? I thought you said the big problem was carnivores.
Oh shit.
It turns out it was carnivores that were the big problem. What? Did they just land? Is this moon really just Catachan?
Well, we have a super spreader virus and giant monkey aliens. Or something. At least it is dangerous.
Yeah. Big's Dark Lighter feels revulsion loaded on horror as he breathes in the predator's moist exhalations and its jaws close in on him. Blast after blast enters the creature until the smell of seared meat fills their nostrils, but still it fights. Dantels! Finally, breathing ends. Awareness departs from its eyes. Biggs experiences a weird intimacy with this dying, semi-intelligent being. He feels the death himself. Did it draw blood? Let me look at you.
It was through a wound that your friend Hobby got infected. We must be careful.
Deeply shaken, Biggs is awash in thoughts of life and death and feelings he could never put into words. I'm okay. It didn't get to me. Not physically, anyway. It's weird. I feel like, as the creature was dying, I looked through a door that opened, and maybe I still see a little through it somehow. To everything. To forever. Come on, we have to find those plants. For Hobby. Biggs and his companions move on, scanning the bizarre flora for the strange flowering hope it must hold. Meanwhile, that most humble of pivots of monumentous history, R2-D2 has delivered his precious package, the detailed plans and specifications of the Death Star. But it is still up to human minds to analyze and intuit a weakness to the fearsome weapon.
I can do the old man if you want.
All right.
Okay. My guess it is the only possible way to. My guess is the only possible way to the reactor is through the exhaust port.
Surely they've anticipated that. Is it ray shielded?
We'd better hope not. From what Senator Organa says, the thing's on its way. Let me see if ray shielding is in the index here.
It is smaller than the description, but it has the right colors. It has none of the overlapping petals, but curled, dried things at its base may be petals it has shed. What is left is to count the existing radiant structure. 16? Oh wait, that's your character.
Okay. 16, 17, 18, 19. Yes, I think we have a match. Well, let me contact him.
Alright, I think that's the commander, so you can voice him.
Okay. Big Starlighter, report. All pilots to Fernin immediately. Immediately. The base is about to come under attack.
Biggs feels his throat tighten. The news is not unexpected, yet it still comes as a surprise. The message fills him with dread, yet it cannot be ignored. But first, count one more time, Polykex. Let's be sure for Hobby. The briefing room fills quickly, but Biggs does not notice a familiar face that enters shortly after he does. That's impossible, even for a computer.
It's not impossible. I used to bullseye womp rats in my T16 back home. They are not much bigger.
Something tugs at Big Darklighter's mind. Did somebody just say womp rat? Couldn't be.
Of course not. Get to your ships, and may the force be with you.
The pilots rise and leave, knowing this is the most terrible and meaningful moment of their mostly young lives. Biggs, Darklighter, listen to me. Come back, do you hear? Promise me. She doesn't wait for an answer. Luke, I don't believe it. How'd you get here? Are you going out with us?
Biggs, of course I'll be there with you. Listen, have I got some stories to tell you?
Biggs has a few stories of his own that he's dying to tell Luke, but he wonders, what brought Luke here to the rebel stronghold on Yavin 4? What could have occurred in the life of his friend in the last few short days since he last saw him on Tatooine? But events press on them, and soon it is established they'll be flying together. Biggs is Red 3 and Luke Red 5. In another part of the base, a fair quieter, but no less fateful, drama is unfolding.
I don't know if you can hear me, Hobby. But we think this will help you. Your friend Biggs had some most unpleasant adventures on our little expedition. I bet he'll love to tell you about them.
The fluid surges into the world beneath the skin, the rich organic chemicals dispersing to fight the foreign infection. The rebel craft surge into infinite space towards a rendezvous with a much larger invader. The touch of Nera Dantel's lips still warms Biggs' Darklighter. He can barely understand why, facing this fearful challenge, he feels such ecstasy. Ever since that thing died, embracing him, his eyes staring into his, it's like he's been as open to the energy of the universe as a flower is open to its life-giving sun. Shaking Luke's hand had brought a torrent of images from his life, which he realizes now has been rich in every way. He goes forth as alive as a man can be, yet at the same time seeing death with dispassionate clarity. For many will die this hour, in the struggle between the power mad who would rule the galaxy, and those who choose freedom. Look at the size of that thing.
Could the chatter, Red 2? Accelerate to attack speed. This is it, boys.
Biggs' mind enters the pilot's special state, with an almost mystical sense of where his fellow pilots are, their speed, their time of arrival. He can't believe he's flying with his old friend, whom, not so long ago, Biggs showed where to put his hands and feet in a skyhopper's cockpit. Luke's no wallflower, he observes, as he sees Red 5 dive for the surface of the artificial planet. And to think, just days ago, he'd lied to Luke about his own involvement with the rebellion, hoping to protect his friend from the dangers of confronting the Empire. But Luke is maybe too eager. Luke, pull out! Are you all right?
I got a little cooked, but I am okay.
Biggs feels a surge of protectiveness for his young friend. He vows to watch Luke's back. Soon there's more than gun turrets for the rebels to fear. Among the TIE fighters is a sleek new craft none have ever seen before. It radiates a special malevolence, which Biggs, in his strangely receptive state, feels like the lightless heat of a gigantic black star. A thought comes, irrational, intuitive. It has something to do with Luke. He will not let this mystery craft get near his friend. But it is not the only threat.
Biggs, you picked one up. Watch it.
I can't see it. Where is he? Energy blasts stream by. Biggs flies in erratic, evasive jerks, as wild as his body can stand. His attacker is right on his tail. It's an impossible problem. No matter how fast he dives for the Death Star, the tie will follow. He's on me tight. I can't shake him. I can't shake him. Only a fellow pilot can save him. It is Luke Skywalker's voice he hears next.
Hang on, Biggs. I'm coming in.
That voice and those words give heart to Biggs. His calm returns. He flies an assured classic left-right upright evasion. It gives Luke enough time. The outcome doesn't surprise Biggs. He was sure Luke could do it. That wasn't his moment to die, he somehow knew. There is more for him to do, and involves Luke. The battle continues, with its carefully fashioned ships, controlled energies, expert pilots killed in the split seconds for which their entire existences have been preparation. Still, the exhaust port remains inviolate. The specter of failure haunts the rebels, and at last it comes down to a farm boy and his friend. Wedge has withdrawn, his ship crippled. Again, Biggs feels the fearful connection between Luke and the strange new fighter. It redoubles his resolve to keep this dark player from his friend. He bobs and lurches from side to side, denying the attacker a clear shot at Luke. Biggs knows this is the last chance they'll get. This is all that matters. It is with this white-hot purpose, burning like a star in his brain, that Biggs Darklighter dies. But the effect of life on others is not so easily destroyed. Eyes that might never have opened again do.
Biggs, you still there?
Lives that had only moments left are saved. And this, not by one pilot or two, but by the efforts of a multitude. The living are given their deserved glory. For if we cannot celebrate the moments we hold back a dark tide, why fight it at all? So too are the fallen celebrated by their fellows, who may join them soon enough. The Jedi said the Force was a tangible field generated by all living things, the subtle structure of the universe. Their strange powers lent weight to their assertions. But others see it as a metaphor for the relationships we have with fellow sentients, particularly the loyalties, duties, and responsibilities we strive to fulfill. Perhaps there is truth to both positions. For human beings are not solitary animals. It is not just our brains and minds, genes and experiences that make us human.
Thanks, Biggs.
It is our altruism and loyalty, our restraint and self-sacrifice, that are the best and most human of what we are. The end.
Oh man. I know that we see the movies and all, but reading the comics makes the guy's death even worse.
Yep.
Uday, if nothing else, this just shows that these characters are good.
Yeah. This really adds to the Star Wars universe. It is really, yeah, this is genuinely really good writing. It is hard to really state otherwise anything less on this. So, let me read some of the comments here. Apparently I lost comments here briefly, but here we go. Siege says, smooth read. Rose says, good comic, can't make fun of him. Yeah, there's not really much to make fun of in this comic because, well, I don't think this comic actually had any notable flaws at all.
Other than the comment on how lethal the place is, this was all perfectly fine. And it wasn't even a joke. It shows that, well, the world, well, the universe, in this case the galaxy of Star Wars, does have very bad planets, and not only the freaking desert ones.
Yeah.
I mean, have we seen in any of the movies or the series a Krat dragon? Because I know we see at least one in KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, but I don't know if we have seen just how dangerous really is a desert, well, this desert planet in special. But again, other than that little tidbit that was mostly funny, the comic is perfectly fine. It has even the right amount of drama.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame they don't make them like this anymore.
It really is, but then again, there is a chance that it might actually return to us before too long. Disney is apparently doing far worse than they were originally letting on, so...
Isn't one guy that has a couple $1 billion in Disney trying to get at least one seat?
Is he trying to take over, are you saying?
I don't know if over, but at least have some control, because he's an investor with a lot of money on the company. And my best guess is that he doesn't want to lose that money.
I mean, that's kind of a reasonable expectation. But yeah, that really does show... I mean, even hedge fund companies aren't able to actually keep the ESG score companies solvent for too long. Even they have to eventually run out of money because of just how much of a financial black hole everything has been for the past few years.
The worst thing is that these companies that are going under are supposedly they are trying to make money, but I cannot help but think that they are trying to sink in. Because almost everything Disney has made sucks. Didn't they have more problems with Snow White recently?
I haven't checked on the Snow White situation recently, but I know that it's been a dumpster fire right from the get-go. The recent one that I know about, that I just found out about, apparently there's some more controversy surrounding Lord of the Rings Gollum, which is not Disney, obviously, but it is worth mentioning because apparently in that company's case, you know the apology that they gave out to everyone?
I don't remember.
Yeah, so the game did so poorly that the developers gave out an apology. Turns out the developers never wrote the apology. It was the publisher pretending to be the developers writing the apology. And not only that, but it turns out they put so little effort into it, they used ChatGPT to write the apology.
Are you serious, man?
Yeah, that's actually a thing.
Look, I am going to be the devil's advocate here and say, if you don't care about the fans and you don't want to apologize, don't. Because I think it is less insulting than this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that really also proves just how formulaic and vapid these apologies a lot of times end up being. The fact that we now have a case where a company just flat out used ChatGPT to do it.
You know, I would either laugh or be angry, but at this point, I don't expect much better. The sad part is that they did it.
Yeah. Siege says it's a decent addition to what was without damaging the original. It'd be nice to get more of this sort of thing. Yeah, I know. I would really like that. Unfortunately, with the way things are with Disney, we can't get it right now, but give it a year or two, and we might. Either that or Disney goes under and it gets sold. The IPs just get sold off to people that actually do care.
Just wait, because if they do make the new Bambi, this is going tits up.
I'm just really curious to see how they do Tarzan. Because something tells me the Disney adaptation of Tarzan is going to be rather amusing.
Can you really make Tarzan these days? Because just thinking about calling a person monkey is going to kill someone. With Tarzan, there is always that joke.
I mean, you say that, but you heard about did you hear about the recent controversy surrounding King Kong now, of all things?
Yeah, supposedly it is racist for some reason.
Oh boy, I actually saw some of the people making the arguments.
What? It is because King Kong is basically the interpretation of a savage black man trying to kidnap our woman?
Yes, and then they did the whole, he was brought in chains to the United States against his will.
You don't know that I was making a joke. I didn't think that was the truth.
That was the actual argument they were making. I kid you not, that's the actual argument that they've been making.
So, a fucking joke that takes me 5 seconds to say and to think is the argument.
Yes.
Well, okay, I am ready. Please destroy the moon.
So so that was the thing, and one of the people that was a journalist from Polygon, because obviously,
it doesn't surprise me.
One of the journalists from Polygon was saying, "All right, but that's because the 1930s U.S. was 1933 U.S. was racist, and this connotation doesn't really apply to any other King Kong film." Which is hilarious, especially hilarious, because in the case of the King Kong franchise, the original King Kong was not the only King Kong film made in 1933. At the end of the 1933, you had The Son of Kong, which was also released was released towards the end of that year. So I started asking him about that. Now, you want to know what's really, really funny about if you try to apply their arguments and them arguing that, Siege is asking which King Kong, they're talking specifically about the original 1933 and not Son of Kong. So I actually got this guy to admit that he doesn't actually think Son of Kong, which was made by the same people in the same year, is not racist.
How? What logic is there for that?
He said because it doesn't go through the same pro-colonialism and pro-imperialism tropes. Even though the plot of Son of Kong has Little Kong and the Americans that he's with stealing ancient artifacts from a temple. So the journalist that just made that argument just defended British museums. And basically just argued.
Funny.
Yes, it is. But here's the other thing. And this makes it. And also keep in mind another part of the reason that they argued that King Kong was representative of, was that he had black fur.
What the?
Now here's where this gets funnier. So we know. So Son of Kong is the son of King Kong, right?
Yes.
Guess what? Guess what? Son of Kong does not actually have black fur in the movie. He has white fur. So if you were going to argue that King Kong was a racist depiction of black people because King Kong had black fur, then in order to be consistent, this journalist from Polygon was essentially arguing that the same filmmakers that hated black people were pro-biracial people because the Son of Kong, who is the son of King Kong, yet with white fur, is portrayed as a hero throughout the entire film.
You what are you expecting of these people?
It is
But this makes me wonder. Have these people seen Godzilla, Gamera, any other giant monster movie? Uh, Why is King Kong racist? Because it is a fucking monkey with black fur that wants to do things to a human woman. Look, my brain is melting right now. Okay.
I actually saw someone from the left seriously try to defend this position by, I kid you not, clipping a scene from Inglourious Bastards where a Nazi is making the comparison. Think about that for a moment. This person just sat there and argued that they think that the Nazi was right in the interpretation of King Kong.
Surprisingly, I expected that and worse. Because, of course, we must hate these people until they have something we have to support. Oh man, this conversation is making me very, very angry.
Yeah. So that's what I had to deal with on Twitter for the past few days. Absolutely making fools of these idiots on there.
Well,
and the journalist, by the way, even had the balls to pretend that he was some big expert on the work of Willis O'Brien, the guy that did the effects for King Kong. But then he completely... And then I pointed out, well, he doesn't mention some of the other stuff that Willis O'Brien worked on before, like The Lost World and Ghost of Slumber Mountain. Then he says, oh, here's an article I did. And the article that he posted just had blatant misinformation. It was an actual fake news article about the Lost World from 1925. I point this out to him, and he tries repeatedly to try to bullshit his way through by saying, oh, he's not talking about short films in the article. He's only talking about feature films. And the thing that he was saying was that The Lost World was the first film to depict dinosaurs using stop-motion animation. It's not. In fact, Willis O'Brien had been making stop-motion animation films depicting dinosaurs since 1915, a full decade before The Lost World. But then he tried to go the excuse of, oh, he's only talking about full feature films. So then I bring up sorry.
Every time I am wrong, I have to change my tune, and you have to respect it. Is that it?
Yeah, and it's not only that, but he tried to go with he was only talking about full feature films. To which point I brought up The Ghost of Slumber Mountain, the original version of which, from 1918, is 40 minutes long. Now, about half that footage is lost because of censorship and all kinds of drama behind the scenes, but that film, which Willis O'Brien also made from 1915, was over 40 minutes, and the standard for a feature film is at least 40 minutes in most places. He then tries to BS his way out by saying, but that's the uncensored version that never got the full release. To which point I then pointed out it doesn't matter anyways, because he, even in the article itself, was referring to other films that are genuinely known to be short films, like A Trip to the Moon from 1902 and a few others. So even by his own BS logic, he just flat out lied to try to get his way out.
How do you have the patience to deal with these people?
Because they deserve to be humiliated, that's why.
Oh no, that part I understand completely. But the fucked up part of this is that I don't think they understand. They are being mocked.
Yeah, I know.
Otherwise, I don't know why they keep doing this.
I think it's ego. Like, they are so petty that they can't afford to admit to screwing up in any way whatsoever. That's part of it. A big part of it. Secondly, and let's be clear here, this guy, being the activist type that journalist is, has sided with a group of people that would happily harass him into suicide if he ever admitted to the things that he had actually said. You know, like him arguing that King Kong is racist because he thinks black people are all giant apes. That's actually his argument.
These are those two things I don't understand. One is, black people are monkeys. Look, that is a joke, the same thing that white people or other ethnicities have their own jokes. And I don't understand why now, after so long, it's a hair trigger for these people. But worse yet is the comparison we got a few years ago that black people are orcs. The same retardation.
Oh, don't even get me started on what the activists think of a certain other group of people. A certain other group of people that they keep comparing to goblins from Harry Potter, Chaos Dwarves, as well as Skaven from Warhammer Fantasy.
Ah, the Jews. Yes.
Yes.
Which is, look, I don't want. I don't want to be. I am an edgelord. Sometimes I am going to admit that. I don't want never to offend anyone. If you get offended, usually it is on you. If I want to be an asshole, I am going to be very direct. I will never say that a fucking goblin or a skaven is a fucking you.
I know.
Who the fuck would think that?
Someone that visits the Sigmarxism Reddit page, apparently.
That is Canther.
And I actually, for the record, I made sure to archive it. And one of the arguments that they use to try to justify their position that they think Jewish people are all Skaven is they use the fact that Hitler and Goebbels released a propaganda film comparing Jewish people to rats, and somehow that makes it okay for far leftists in general to immediately think Skaven whenever they see a Jewish person.
Excuse me. Are they using the same example Hitler used to justify this? Don't they find this a little bit fucked up?
No, because it's called media literacy as far as they're concerned.
Oh, you mean illiteracy?
No, they think you're illiterate because you just don't get it. Like, even Vosh apparently decided to chime in on this and do a video where he says, everyone that disagrees with Vosh's position that he thinks black people are all giant apes is just a bigot who doesn't get it.
So, you are a piece of shit if you don't think that black people are monkeys.
Yes.
But you are a piece of shit if you say that black people are monkeys.
Yes.
How can you win?
You're not supposed to. Which is why the strategy I instead use is to just simply apply their own rules to them. Because, like I said, it's not designed for you to win against an accusation. So all you have to do is just turn those accusations right back around on them by pointing out examples of things that, by their own admissions, they believe, but they also believe to be racist. That's why it's so effective to just point to them, to all of those activists who, I think there was something like 12,000 people, right, upvoted that video from extra credits that claimed that black people are all orcs. 12,000 people upvoted that. That's 12,000 activists that liked that message. There were so many activists that liked that message that Wizards of the Coast changed the description of orcs just to appease them, just so activists would stop making that comparison.
These people fucked everything for everyone. Holy shit, going back to Dungeons and Dragons, we are not going to, legally speaking, of course, be able to play a fucking shaman or a druid. Because apparently it is bad. Don't they know that Europe had shamans, Europe had druids? This is not us or anyone else being an asshole to any other people. What? I am getting really, really fucking angry.
Yokai says the National Socialists are leftist confirmed. Yes, unironically, yes. I've actually done... Right, so here's another really good example. I was actually thinking of doing a video just on this, but a follow-up, because my previous video pointing out the fact that the National Socialists from World War II were basically leftists, for all intents and purposes. I actually, of course, got some leftists that were rather upset by that. And they tried to... Now, one guy whose comments thread has actually been pinned by yours truly decided to, of course, take up the position that... he also, of course, decided to defend socialism by claiming that the Soviet Union wasn't real socialism. That it was a capitalist system, a state capitalist system. And you want to know what the argument that you want to know what the counter that I put to him on that was? And this is the counter argument that should be made whenever you hear a socialist claim that the USSR was state capitalism. You want to know what that argument was?
Yeah.
I told him that he was effectively saying that he thought Hitler was right about socialism. Or that Hitler was right about the Soviet Union, more specifically. Because whenever you tell these far leftists that they are agreeing with Adolf Hitler on the topic of communism, they get rather upset with you. And the thing is, I was able to prove it in the thread. Like, I provided direct quotes of Hitler outright saying that communists are basically just capitalists in disguise. At which point the guy even admitted, yeah, that's what that means, without realizing that he had just admitted that. Then he goes on to actually just flat out, he then goes on to continue, essentially agreeing with Hitler's position on communism, to the point he even, at one point, argues that the bourgeoisie are not human in his eyes either.
Oh my fucking...
Because he said that proletariat is synonymous with human. So someone who isn't a proletariat, by that reasoning, is not synonymous with human. Guess what? The bourgeoisie are not... Guess what? The bourgeoisie are not proletariat.
Oh. Ace, answer me this, and do so with as much sincerity as you can. How many brain hemorrhages have you suffered from with these people?
I don't know. I don't think the answer is 0, though.
I can imagine.
Winner's King...
No, sorry. Is this... I am getting...
very angry at this, yes.
Look, I have lived in Spain all my life. There is not just socialism. Not everything is, that way. It's a mixed economy.
Yep.
It's not good by any means because everyone keeps fucking shit up.
Yeah, I know.
But holy hell. It's not hard to see where things are wrong and when things work.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Let me read some of the comments here. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. I need to calm down a bit.
Winner's King says Ace is right. It's designed to destroy their enemies, not be consistent or make sense. All right. To have a consistent ideology, they would have to have self-awareness and some form of morals, which they totally lack. Yeah, which is why all these leftists keep celebrating Palestine and the actions of Hamas after, what recently happened. Siege says you can hold up a mirror to them and not give them an inch, not play the game, or the last one can be described with a game title Rome Total War. Winner's King says the entire purpose of their beliefs is to justify their own morality and evil thoughts, desires, and beliefs, and to demonize anyone who would judge them or prevent them from indulging in degeneracy. Siege. Winner's King says, Oros, why did any of this surprise you? Communists say they want genocide all the time. Siege says it's a big club and we ain't in it, so I'm not happy.
It is not surprise. It is just frustration at this point.
Yokai says, cannot play as Zama, witches, or druid because they are religious icons for some reason, but clerics, mages, sorcerers, and paladins that are blatant religious is allowed. Yeah.
No, it is. I thought it was worse. You don't need to play to pray to any god right now if you want to be a cleric or a paladin. How does that work?
It's a big mystery.
Because look, I didn't play since first edition, but I did play a lot from third onwards, except the last one because obvious reasons. But you always needed a fucking god or a patron or something else. Something that is, if not religious, borderline. Explain that to me.
Siege says happy not to be in that club. And to explain it to you, there is no explanation. There just flat out isn't. It just does not make sense. Which is why everyone is not happy about that.
Dungeons and Dragons is also going downhill. I mean, the company, right?
Yeah, Wizards
It was
of the Coast
losing money.
Yeah, they're not. Wizards of the Coast cannot be doing all that well. Maybe what we need to do is have someone just create, the anti-woke beer.
Yes.
That has no wokeness in it. Maybe we should just have a pen and paper company do the exact same thing there.
I am pretty sure, if nothing else, they are going to make bank.
Yeah. But anyways, I think we have been on the bit of a rant for long enough.
Yeah, I think at least 20 minutes.
So while we have what sanity we have left, I think we're going to go ahead and call it. So yeah, this has been Ace.
And this has been Uros.
And thank you for being on. But yeah, in any case, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.